All right, let's dive in. Today, we're getting inside the head of an architect through their really fantastic essay, Green Horizons. It's a personal story, a professional journey into sustainable design that all started, believe it or not, with a simple question.
And this is it. This is the question that changed everything. What if the buildings we shape could heal the cities they inhabit? It's a huge thought, right? It's what sparked this total shift in perspective for our architect. The goal wasn't just about building anymore. It was about healing.
So picture this, an architect totally focused on the usual stuff. You know, how a building looks, the clean lines, the sleek facades. That was their world. But then, this new idea starts to creep in. This pull towards creating spaces that do more than just stand there and look pretty. Spaces that actually give back to the planet.
So if you're going to rethink everything, where do you even begin? Well, you start by looking at the best designer in the history of the world. Nature itself. I mean, it's had millions of years to perfect its designs. Why wouldn't we learn from it?
And that brings us to this key idea, biomimicry. It sounds kind of technical, but it's a beautifully simple concept. You just look at how nature solves problems, its patterns, its incredible efficiency, and you copy that genius to solve our own human challenges. It's that simple and that profound.
For a perfect example, just look at the Eastgate Centre in Zimbabwe. The architect, Mick Pierce, did something amazing. He looked at termite mounds and how they stay cool in the scorching African heat, and he thought, hey, can we do that for a whole office building? Turns out, you can.
And the result? Get this, the building uses 90% less energy for heating and cooling than a typical building its size. I mean, 90%. That's not just a small improvement, that is a complete game changer. It proves this isn't just a cool theory, it really, really works.
And this thinking is absolutely alive and well today. You've got pioneers like Stefano Boeri in Milan taking it to a whole other level. His project Bosco Verticale, or vertical forest, isn't just inspired by nature, it literally wraps an entire forest around the outside of 2 apartment towers.
The impact is just wow. We're talking 20,000 plants and trees living on these buildings. They absorb something like 44,000 tons of CO2 every single year, and they create a brand new habitat for birds and insects, boosting the city's biodiversity. It's literally a living, breathing ecosystem right in the middle of a concrete jungle.
Okay, so let's get back to our architect's personal story. Because seeing all of these incredible examples sparked something. It turned this growing frustration with wasteful, inefficient design into a deep, passionate fascination with what could be.
You can really see the transformation here. The old focus was all about looks, the form, the symmetry, the shiny facade. But the new focus, it's all about sustainability, finding new uses for old buildings and creating spaces that actually heal. It's a totally different mindset.
And you know, this big aha moment came from looking back at a past project, a building that looked beautiful but was an energy-guzzling nightmare. And that's what sparked this curiosity about adaptive reuse. The idea is, instead of tearing old buildings down, why not give them a second chance? Retrofit them, breathe new, sustainable life into them.
And if you want to see adaptive reuse in action, there's no better example than the High Line in New York City. This thing was a rusty, abandoned, elevated train track, an eyesore. But instead of demolishing it, it was reborn as this incredible green park that snakes its way through the city.
So how does a transformation like that even happen? Well, first you find that piece of forgotten infrastructure, then you bring in the green, native plants, smart design. Pretty soon it becomes a hub for the community. And the benefits are huge. It actually cools the city down and, just makes people happier. It's a win for the planet and a win for people.
And what's so cool is that this idea isn't just for architects. Not at all. It's become this universal canvas, popping up in all sorts of creative fields.
It's like this massive creative collaboration. In fashion, you've got designers like Stella McCartney making beautiful things from zero-waste materials. In books, you've got eco-fiction challenging us to think. In art, you've got installations like Ice Watch that are impossible to ignore. And of course, in urban planning, you have these mind-blowing projects, from Singapore's Gardens by the Bay to Masdar City's zero-carbon dream. It's everywhere.
So where does all this lead? For our architect, this entire journey of discovery ends with a really powerful commitment. A personal pledge to design for a better tomorrow.
And this is the pledge, to fight for spaces that don't just exist, but that endure, that uplift, and that heal. Buildings that can help fight climate change, while also, and this is so important, renewing the human spirit.
So, as we wrap this up, that initial question from the architect kind of boomerangs back to all of us. Their journey shows what's possible when we decide to work with nature instead of against it. And it leaves us with a question to chew on. What does a rejuvenated, greener urban future look like to you?